what's up guys? So I would describe myself as an intermediate level model painter. Is that fair? It's not my favorite part of the hobby, and so it's never really been a high priority for me to push my painting skills to the next level. But the further down the hobby rabbit hole I get, the more I find that that's starting to change. Now, as a content creator who doesn't focus exclusively on mini painting, I can't be spending 24 hours plus painting one model. Ain't nobody got time for that. So naturally, I've been drawn to speed painting. I've always been interested in trying contrast paints, but I could never justify paying the prices that they charge for them. Earlier in 2022, I was thrilled to hear that Army Painter was releasing a more affordable option to compete with contrast paints. Enter Army Painter SpeedPaints. As soon as they were available, I picked up a mega set and I started testing them out. Side note, the agitator bead blocked the dropper here, and that's why it spilled. Fortunately, my intermediate level painting skills immediately kicked in and I got to work. I'm someone with a background in fine art, and I quickly compared them to gouache paints, which have similar reactivation properties. I never thought of them as broken or in need of being fixed. I just accepted that I had to varnish the models after laying down speed paint base colors before doing any dry brushing or detailing on top of it. To me, that was a small price to pay for the affordability of speed paints. I was pretty happy with the results I was getting with most of the colors in the line, and I still am. Well, it turns out that the reactivation was more of an issue for some others in the community, and as a result, Army Painter has really been making an effort to fix the reactivation issues and expand the line, which I think is pretty awesome. But for now, I have a mega set of the original paints to use up, and that's what I'm doing right here. I gave these Mummified Undead a base coat of pallid bone over a white primer. I used plasmatic bolt on the spirits coming out of this casket. I really love this color, by the way. It's perfect for spectral effects like this. For the beasts, I wet blended pallid bone and malignant green for a base color. I added some blood and darker brown to the beasts. The layer lines were really standing out on these beast prints, so I opted to give them a really dirty look to help mask that. Once that was dry, I gave everything a matte varnish to lock those colors in. Then I painted most of the armor with Gehenna's gold and picked out a few details. Initially, I tried painting some of the rims blue. In the end, though, I realized that the blue didn't really contribute to a uniform color scheme very well, so I just ended up painting all the base rims gold. I decided I didn't hate myself enough to attempt to paint a clean silver rim around these shields, and I opted to just paint them in monotone instead, black for one unit and gray for the other. To give the scarab hordes more of a scarab look, I gave them a coat of silver. Then I mixed some green skin and plasmatic bolt together to create a thicker green wash. I used that on the scarabs and the exoskeletons of the giant scorpions. After that, I hit them with some thinned down grim black. No need to apply a varnish here between coats. Reactivation can be used intentionally as a tool sometimes. For example, here the layer of grim black paint is taking some of the green off of the edges of the model as I'm brushing it on, kind of creating a similar effect to dry brushing to edge highlight. I used oak brown for the bows on the skeleton horsemen, and holy white to go with their magic blue loincloths. I bedazzled their golden armor with reds and blues. and of course mummy robes on the many strands of bandages wrapped around the models. I layered red, greens, yellows, and browns on the beasts, starting with a vibrant undercoat and gradually building up the darker, grimy areas until I was happy with the look. Here's a product I never see anyone use, Army Painter Quick Shade. A friend of mine who's even less into mini painting than I am gave me this. Thank you, Isaac. I didn't realize until after I coated the first model that this is actually a varnish and not just a shade. It's a shade and varnish all in one. Since it isn't water-based, it doesn't disturb the speed paint like a water wash would. This stuff goes on thick and slowly oozes off. It's messy and sticky, and it needs to be handled carefully. Otherwise, you're going to make a mess. But the end result looks fantastic. I used a paper towel and Q-tips to dab off the excess varnish where it was pooling, while trying to avoid accidentally attaching any cotton strands to the models. Then after giving them a day to dry, I gave the models a coat of Tester's Dole Coat to eliminate the glossiness of the Quick Shade. So speed paints are in this kind of weird limbo at the moment, I guess. If you're trying to decide if you should pick some up, I think they are still worth buying if you're on a budget. If you aren't in a hurry or you're worried about the reactivation, maybe wait for the new formulas to come out, or maybe just buy colors one at a time. Personally, I like most of the colors in the mega set with the exception of High Lord Blue, Magic Blue, and Crusader Skin. From what I've seen on other channels, I think the blues could benefit from being airbrushed. And for what it's worth, I don't regret buying this set personally, even with the reactivation issues. I don't see myself ever going back to painting minis with traditional paints exclusively. If anything, it's probably going to be a mixture of the two. The benefit of inks and these multi-tone mediums are just too good to ignore. I've never liked having to thin down paints and put on multiple coats in order to avoid that globby paint look. With ink-based mediums, you get more saturated colors with less effort. That being said, I try not to get too caught up in which brand is the best. I think the best way to improve your painting abilities is with practice. Having pictures for color reference helps too, and learning to mix colors confidently rather than relying on pre-mixed colors. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Sorry if the voiceover is a little rough. I'm currently getting over a case of the dreaded vid. We were planning on filming some battle reports this week, but that kind of ruined those plans, so expect to see these undead in action early next year. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a good day, and I will see you later.